The north is cold and full of whispers.
The feast is in full swing. Long wooden tables packed with northern lords, their bannermen, knights, and servants. Torches flicker against stone walls. The smell of roasted meat and spilled ale fills the air. At the high table, King Robert Baratheon, massive and loud, a wine cup never far from his hand. Beside him, Eddard Stark, Lord of Winterfell, watching his old friend with concerned eyes. Queen Cersei sits on Robert's other side, beautiful and cold, her golden hair catching the firelight. Her children, Joffrey, Myrcella, Tommen, sit nearby, all blonde, all Lannister. The northern lords fill the hall. Lord Rickard Karstark, the great young Umber already drunk and bellowing. Roose Bolton, pale and quiet, watching everything. Wyman Manderly, fat and jovial. Dozens of others. At a lower table away from the high seats, Jon Snow sits with the Stark children. Robb beside him laughing at something Theon Greyjoy said. Arya across from them, trying to throw food at Bran. Sansa sits properly, hands folded, watching the royal party with wide eyes. Jon is 14 years old, dark brown hair, gray eyes, the long Stark face. He wears plain clothes, not rags, but nothing fine. A bastard's clothing. He keeps his head down, trying not to draw attention. A servant approaches with a trencher of bread and meat, sets it in front of Jon without a word. Catelyn Stark, seated at the high table, sees this. Her face hardens. She turns her head deliberately away from Jon, refusing to acknowledge him. The gesture is small but unmistakable. Robert sees it. He's drunk, not falling down drunk, but well past sober. His face is flushed, his voice too loud. He's been telling war stories for the past hour. Reliving his glory days, he leans toward Ned. Your bastard, Jon, yes? The boy at the lower table. Ned's jaw tightens. Yes, your grace. He's a fine-looking lad. Has your face, Ned, the long Stark look? Robert drinks. How old is he now? 14. Same age as Robb, 14. Robert's eyes drift to Catelyn and your lady wife. She doesn't seem fond of the boy. Ned's voice is careful. Catelyn has always found Jon's presence difficult, your grace. It's an old wound. Robert laughs, but there's an edge to it. You know what I think, Ned? I think you're too honorable for your own good. You bring home a bastard, fine, we all have bastards. But you raise him in your own castle, under your own roof, alongside your trueborn children. You give him your name, Snow, but still a Stark name. You treat him like a son. He is my son. Exactly, he's your son. But your wife treats him like a stain, like he's nothing. Robert's voice is rising. Other conversations at nearby tables are quieting. People are starting to listen. Ned leans in, urgent. Robert, please, this is not the time. When is the time, Ned? When? Robert stands, his chair scrapes loud against stone. The hall falls silent. Every eye turns to the king. Robert sways slightly, grabs the table for balance. His face is red, his eyes bright with drink and emotion. My lords, ladies, people of the north, his voice booms. I have something to say about my brother, my true brother Eddard Stark. Ned closes his eyes. Catelyn's knuckles are white on her wine cup. Robert points at Ned. This man, this honorable, stubborn, wonderful man. He fought beside me in the rebellion, held the realm together when I was too drunk or too angry to do it myself. He's the best man I know, and he's been suffering for 14 years. Suffering in silence. No, let me finish. Robert looks around the hall. You all see it, don't you? The Lady Catelyn won't even look at the boy. Jon Snow. Ned's bastard sits at the low table like he's a servant, like he's nothing. But he's not nothing. He's Ned's blood, my brother's blood. And I won't stand for it anymore. The hall is dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Jon's face has gone pale. Robb is staring at Robert, confused and worried. Catelyn looks like she's been struck. Robert straightens. Drunk or not, he's still a king. Still a man who won the Iron Throne through conquest. His voice carries authority. Jon Snow, stand up, boy. Jon doesn't move. Can't move. He's frozen. Jon, Robb hisses. The king's talking to you. Jon stands slowly. Every eye in the hall is on him. He wants to disappear. Wants the ground to swallow him whole. Robert looks at him, really looks. You didn't ask for this, did you? Didn't ask to be born a bastard. Didn't ask for your mother, whoever she was, to die or leave or whatever happened. You didn't ask for any of it. Jon's throat is tight. No, Your Grace. The cold looks. The knowledge that you'll never inherit, never have a true name, never be anything more than a stain on your father's honor. Robert's voice drops. Quieter now. Almost gentle. I know what that's like, boy. Not being wanted. My own father barely looked at me, and when he did, all he saw was disappointment. I know what it's like to feel like you don't belong. Ned is standing now. Robert, please. Robert ignores him. Jon Snow, you're Ned Stark's son, his blood, his flesh. You've been raised in this castle, trained alongside his trueborn children, taught to fight and read and be a man of honor. You are a son of Winterfell, and I'm tired, gods, I'm so tired, of watching good people suffer because of stupid, outdated, cruel customs. He raises his wine cup, so I'm going to do something about it. Right here, right now. Catelyn stands. Your Grace, I beg you. Sit down, my lady. Robert's voice is iron. Catelyn sits. She has no choice. You don't defy a king. Robert looks at Jon again. Jon Snow, by the authority vested in me as King of the Seven Kingdoms, Lord of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, I hereby legitimize you. You are Jon Snow no longer. From this moment forward, you are Jon Stark, true-born son of Eddard Stark, Lord of Winterfell, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities that come with that name. The hall erupts, gasps, shouts, the northern lords talking over each other. Jon can't breathe, can't think. The world has tilted sideways. Robert drains his wine cup, slams it down on the table. There, it's done. And anyone who has a problem with it can take it up with me. I'm the king. What I say is law. Jon Stark is a true-born son of Winterfell, and that's the end of it. He sits heavily, looks at Ned. You're welcome, brother. At Catelyn, whose face is white with fury and shock. At Robb, who's staring at Jon like he's seeing a stranger. Jon stands in the middle of the hall, surrounded by hundreds of people, feeling more alone than he's ever felt in his life. The hall is still in chaos, voices raised, arguments breaking out at tables. The northern lords don't know how to react. At one table, Lord Rickard Karstark leans toward the great Jon Umber. The king's gone mad. You can't just make a bastard an heir without the father's blessing. Without asking, Great Jon grunts. The king can do whatever he wants. That's what being king means. It's not right. Lord Stark's face. Did you see? He didn't want this. And the Lady Catelyn. Aye, she looked ready to murder someone. Great Jon drinks, but what's done is done. The king spoke. Jon Snow's Jon Stark now. Whether we like it or not, at another table, Roose Bolton sits with his bastard son, Ramsay, who's visiting from the Dreadfort. Roose's pale eyes are thoughtful. Father? Ramsay leans in. What does this mean? It means, Roose says quietly, that Winterfell just became very interesting. The king has created a succession crisis. Jon and Robb are the same age, 14. If Jon is legitimized as a true-born son, and if he's older than Robb even by a few months, then by law, Jon is the heir to Winterfell, not Robb. Will Lord Stark accept that? He has no choice. The king's word is law. But whether the northern lords accept it, that's another question. Roose sips his wine. Division is opportunity, my son. Remember that. At the high table, Catelyn is shaking, not with fear, with rage. She stands without asking permission and walks out of the hall. Servants scatter out of her way. She moves like a storm. Ned watches her go. Doesn't follow. Can't follow. Not yet. Not with the king right here, drunk and oblivious. Robert is laughing with some knight about a battle 20 years ago. He's already forgotten what he just did. Or he doesn't care about the consequences. Sansa touches Robb's arm. What just happened? Robb's voice is hollow. The king legitimized Jon. He's not a bastard anymore. He's Jon Stark. But that's good, isn't it? Jon always hated being a Snow. Now he's our brother. He was always our brother, Sansa. Robb looks at Jon, still standing in the middle of the hall, frozen. But now he's ahead of me, in the line. If father dies, Jon inherits Winterfell, not me. Sansa's eyes widen. Oh, Arya jumps up from her seat, runs to Jon, grabs his hand. Jon, you're a Stark, a real Stark. Aren't you happy? Jon looks down at his little sister. She's 10 years old. She doesn't understand what just happened. Doesn't understand that Robert just put a knife between him and Robb, between him and everyone he loves. Arya, go back to the table. Arya's face falls. She goes back to her seat, confused and hurt. Jon walks out of the hall, doesn't run, just walks, head down, every eye on him. He pushes through the doors and into the cold night air. Jon walks fast, almost running, through the courtyards, past the armory into the godswood. The heart tree stands in the center, the weirwood, ancient, red leaves rustling in the wind, the carved face watching him with those red sap eyes. Jon falls to his knees in the snow, breathes hard, tries not to cry. He's 14. He spent his entire life being Jon Snow, the bastard, the outsider, the one who doesn't belong. And now, with one drunken declaration, Robert has made him Jon Stark, trueborn son, heir. He didn't ask for this, doesn't want it, but he has it anyway. Footsteps crunch in the snow behind him. Jon tenses. Jon, I'm not leaving you here alone. I want to be alone. I don't care what you want. Robb sits down in the snow beside Jon. They sit in silence for a long moment. This is insane. I know. I mean, what was Robert thinking? You can't just legitimize someone without asking their father first, without thinking about what it means. He was drunk. He's always drunk. That's not an excuse. Robb picks up a handful of snow, lets it fall through his fingers. Are you happy? Is this what you wanted? Jon finally looks at him. No. I was going to the wall, Robb. I was going to take the black. Join the Night's Watch. That was my plan. My future, and now you're a Stark. I don't want to be a Stark. Not like this. Not if it means, Jon's voice breaks. Not if it means coming between you and Winterfell. You're my brother, you've always been my brother, and I don't want to take anything from you. Robb is quiet for a long time. I know, but it doesn't matter what we want. The king declared it. You're Jon Stark now, and by law, by northern law and the law of the Seven Kingdoms, if you're the elder son, you're the heir. We were both born in 283, but I don't know the months. Father never told me. Father never tells anyone anything. Robb's voice is bitter. He keeps secrets. Always has. And now one of those secrets just became public in the worst way possible. Jon stands. I won't take Winterfell from you. I'll refuse it. I'll tell Father I don't accept the legitimization. You can't refuse it. The king declared it. You're a Stark whether you want to be or not. Then I'll go to the wall anyway. I'll take the black. Once I swear the vow, I forfeit all claims. All titles. Winterfell goes to you. Listen to me. I don't care what Robert said. I don't care what the law says. You're my brother. You've always been my brother. And I'm not going to let this drunken decree destroy that. We'll figure it out. Together. But you're not running away to the wall. Not like this. Robb, promise me you won't leave. Jon looks at his brother, at the boy he grew up with, trained with. They're the same age, same height, same competence with a sword. The only difference is that Robb was born in a marriage bed and Jon wasn't. And now a king has erased that difference with a few words. I promise, Jon says. I won't leave. Not yet. Good. Robb lets go, steps back. Now come back to the hall before Mother does something we'll all regret. They walk back together, side by side, brothers. But there's a distance between them now that wasn't there before. A space that Robert's decree created. And Jon knows, with cold certainty, that it will only grow. Catelyn stands by the window looking out at the dark courtyard. Her back is to the door. She's still in her feast clothes, but her hair is down, loose, wild. The door opens, Ned enters, closes it behind him. Cat. She doesn't turn. Don't. We need to talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. The king legitimized your bastard, without asking you, without consulting anyone. He stood up in front of the entire North and declared Jon Snow a trueborn son of Winterfell. What is there to discuss? Ned walks closer. I didn't want this. I never asked for this. I know, Catelyn's voice is ice, but you got it anyway. Your precious bastard is a Stark now. Congratulations. Cat, please. She whirls on him. Her eyes are red but dry. She's past crying. Do you understand what Robert just did? Do you understand what this means? I understand that he was drunk and sentimental and stupid. I understand that he saw you turn away from Jon and decided to help me. I understand that he's a fool. He's a king, and his word is law. Jon Snow is dead. Jon Stark lives, and Jon Stark is your eldest son. Ned's face goes very still. We don't know that, don't we? You brought Jon home from the rebellion. You claimed he was born during the war, before you married me. If that's true, if he was born in early 283, then he's older than Robb. By months, at least. Which means Jon is the heir to Winterfell. Not Robb, Jon. Robb is my heir. That hasn't changed. It has changed, everything has changed. The Northern Lords know the law. They know succession. And they know that if you die tomorrow, Jon Stark inherits. Not Robb. No matter what you say, no matter what you want. The law is the law. Ned sits heavily on the bed. I'll talk to the lords. I'll make it clear that Robb is my heir. You'll what? Ignore a royal decree? Defy the king? Disinherit Jon in front of the same lords who just watched Robert legitimize him? Catelyn's voice rises. You can't undo this, Ned. You can't fix it. Robert has placed a knife at our sons' throats, and there's nothing you can do about it. Jon would never hurt Robb. He loves him. I know he loves him. Now, while they're both boys, but what happens when you're dead, Ned? What happens when the Northern Lords start whispering? Jon is the elder. Jon should rule. The law says Jon. What happens when Jon has to choose between the brother he loves and the inheritance he's legally entitled to? He'd choose Robb. You don't know that. No one knows that. Because legitimized bastards have a history, Ned. A very specific, bloody history. Have you forgotten the Blackfire rebellions? Daemon Blackfire was King Aegon's legitimized bastard. He loved his trueborn brother Daeron, and then he rose in rebellion and tore the realm apart. 5 wars, Ned. 5 wars because a king legitimized his bastards and created succession chaos. Ned looks at his wife, sees the fear in her eyes, real fear, not paranoia, not jealousy. Fear based on history and law and political reality. Cat, I swear to you, I won't let Jon come between our children. How? How will you stop it? You can't control what the lords think. You can't control what happens after you're dead. You can't even control what Robert says when he's drunk. Catelyn sits beside him. I've spent 14 years hating that boy, hating what he represents. The proof of your betrayal, your dishonor. And I was wrong to hate him. He's an innocent child. But now he's not just a bastard anymore. He's a threat, a real legal political threat to my sons. And I don't know what to do. We'll protect all our children, I promise you. You can't promise that, not anymore. They sit in silence. The fire burns low in the hearth. Outside, the wind howls. And in the Godswood, Ghost, Jon's albino direwolf pup, sits beneath the heart tree and howls at the moon. Jon wakes to pounding on his door. Jon, wake up! It's Arya. Jon groans, sits up. He barely slept, kept replaying the feast over and over in his mind. Robert's declaration, the look on Catelyn's face, Robb's confusion. Jon, I'm up, I'm up. He opens the door. Arya barrels in. Did you hear Uncle Benjen is leaving today? He's going back to the wall. You're supposed to go with him. Are you still going? Jon's stomach drops. The wall, the Night's Watch, his future, was his future. I don't know, Arya. What do you mean you don't know? You've been talking about joining the Watch for months. You said it was where you belonged. You said, I know what I said. But things are different now. Because the king made you a Stark? Arya's face scrunches up. I don't understand. Why would that change anything? You wanted to go to the wall, so go. It's not that simple. Why not? Jon sits on the edge of his bed. Because I'm not Jon Snow anymore, Arya. I'm Jon Stark, and Jon Stark has responsibilities, duties, things that Jon Snow didn't have. You sound like Sansa, all proper and boring. Arya flops onto his bed. I think you should still go. The Night's Watch needs good men. You'd be a good ranger, better than staying here and being all lordly. Jon almost smiles. Lordly? You know what I mean. Sitting at high tables and talking about taxes and grain stores. Boring stuff. You're meant for adventure, for fighting, for being free. The Night's Watch isn't freedom, Arya. It's service, for life. You can never marry, never have children, never own land. You give up everything. But you get to fight wildlings and protect the realm. That's better than being stuck in some castle. She looks at him. Do you want to stay? Jon, do you? I don't know what I want. Yesterday I was going to the wall. Today I'm heir to Winterfell. Maybe. Everything's changed and I don't know how to feel about it. Forget what the king said. Forget what everyone else thinks. What do you want? But it's not simple, because choosing the wall means abandoning Robb, means leaving Winterfell in chaos, means running away, and choosing to stay means, what, becoming the heir? Taking Robb's birthright? Living with Catelyn's hatred forever? There's no good choice. Before he can answer, there's another knock. Heavier this time. Jon, it's your father. I need to speak with you. Arya jumps off the bed. I'll go. But think about it, Jon. Really think about it. She slips out past Ned. Ned enters, closes the door. He looks tired, older than he did yesterday. Father. Jon. Ned sits in the room's only chair. We need to talk about what happened last night. I didn't ask for it. I know, but it doesn't matter what you ask for. Robert declared you Jon Stark. That's a fact now. We have to deal with it. I could go to the wall, join the Night's Watch. Once I take the black, I forfeit all claims. Robb becomes your heir again, and everything goes back to normal. Ned is quiet for a long moment. That was my first thought too, but I talked to Benjen this morning. He said if you run to the wall now, the Northern Lords will call you a coward. They'll say you couldn't handle being legitimized, that you ran from responsibility. I don't care what they say. You should, because how they see you affects how they see House Stark. If you run, it makes our house look weak. It makes Robert's decree look like a mistake, and Robert is the king. You can't make him look foolish without consequences. So I'm trapped. You're in a difficult position, one you didn't ask for. But you have options. What options? Ned leans forward. Stay. For now, don't go to the wall today. Stay at Winterfell. We'll figure out the succession question. I'll make it clear to the lords that Robb is my heir. We'll find a way to make this work without dividing the family. Lady Catelyn will never accept me as a Stark. Catelyn is struggling with this, but she's not your enemy, Jon. She's afraid for her children, and I can't blame her. The Blackfyre Rebellion started because a king legitimized his bastards without thinking about the consequences. Catelyn knows her history. She knows what can happen. I'm not Daemon Blackfyre. I won't rebel against Robb. I know that, and Robb knows that, but the lords don't know that. Not yet. You'll have to prove it to them, through your actions, through your loyalty. Ned stands. Stay, Jon, please. We'll work this out together, as a family. But he sees the exhaustion in Ned's eyes, the weight of trying to hold the family together. All right, Jon says. I'll stay, for now. Thank you. Ned moves toward the door, stops. Jon, I know this is hard. I know you didn't ask for this, but you're my son. Bastard or trueborn, legitimized or not, you're my son, and I'm proud of you. Never doubt that. Jon Stark, trueborn son of Winterfell. He doesn't feel like a Stark, he feels like an imposter wearing someone else's skin. The courtyard is busy. Benjen Stark is preparing to leave for the wall. His horse is saddled, supplies packed. A few Night's Watch brothers who came south with him are ready to ride. Jon stands nearby watching. He's supposed to be with them, supposed to be riding north to take the black. But he's not. Benjen approaches. He's younger than Ned, but there's a hardness to him. A man who's seen things beyond the wall that would break lesser men. Jon, Uncle Benjen. So, you're staying. Father asked me to. He thinks running to the wall would make things worse. Benjen nods slowly. He's probably right. The king legitimized you in front of half the north. If you disappear to the wall the next day, it looks like you're ashamed of being a Stark, or afraid of it. I'm not ashamed. I don't want this. Most men who get power don't want it. The ones who do want it are usually the ones who shouldn't have it. Benjen puts a hand on Jon's shoulder. Listen to me. I know you wanted the watch. I know you saw it as your path, your purpose. But sometimes our path changes. Sometimes the gods, or drunk kings, decide something different for us. And we have to adapt. What if I can't? What if staying here destroys my family? Then you fight to keep them together. You prove every single day that you're not a threat to Robb, that you're loyal, that you're a Stark in more than just name. Benjen squeezes his shoulder. You're strong, Jon. Stronger than you know. You'll survive this. And when you're ready, when things have settled, if you still want the wall, it'll be waiting. We always need good men. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just don't waste this. Robert gave you something most bastards dream of. A name. a place. Use it well. Benjen mounts his horse, looks down at Jon one last time. Take care of your father and your brother. They're going to need you. He rides out, the gates open, the Night's Watch brothers follow. Jon watches until they're out of sight. Behind him, Robb approaches. You stayed. Good. Robb stands beside him. I talked to father. He's going to call a meeting. All the northern lords who are still here, he's going to make it clear that I'm his heir, that the succession isn't in question. Will they believe him? They'll have to. He's Lord of Winterfell. His word is law. In the north, at least. They stand in silence. The courtyard is emptying. Servants returning to their duties. Guards taking up positions. Jon. Yeah? We're going to be okay. You and me. We're brothers. Nothing changes that. Jon wants to believe him, but he's seen Catelyn's face, heard the whispers from the lords, felt the tension in the air. Everything has changed, and pretending otherwise won't make it true. The northern lords are assembled. Not everyone. Some have already left for their holdfasts, but enough. The great Jon, still nursing a hangover, Rickard Karstark, stern and disapproving, Roose Bolton, pale and attentive, Wyman Manderly eating a piece of pie. Others, Robert is conspicuously absent. He's out hunting with some of the king's party, leaving Ned to clean up the mess he made. Ned stands at the high table, Robb beside him. Jon stands off to the side, not at the table but not in the crowd either, somewhere in between. Catelyn is not present. Ned didn't ask her to be, and she didn't offer. Ned speaks. His voice is calm but firm. My lords, thank you for staying. I know many of you are eager to return to your homes, but I need to address what happened last night. The king's decree. The lords shift. Exchange glances. King Robert, in his enthusiasm, legitimized Jon Snow as Jon Stark. This was done without my knowledge or consent. However, it was done by royal decree, and as such, it is law. Jon is now, legally, a trueborn son of House Stark. Rickard Karstark speaks up. My lord, with respect, the king's decree creates a problem. Jon and Robb are the same age. If Jon is the elder, then by law, he's your heir. Not Robb. Is that your understanding? The age difference, if any, is a matter of months. And regardless of the technical legalities, I am declaring here and now that Robb is my heir. Robb will inherit Winterfell when I die. That is my will. That is my decision, and I expect every lord here to honor it. The great Jon rumbles. We hear you, my lord, and will honor your will. But what does the law say? What does the king say if Jon is legitimized as the elder son? The king said nothing about succession. He legitimized Jon. He didn't name him heir. But the law, Ned says, voice hard, is subject to a lord's will. I am Lord of Winterfell. I name my heir, and I name Robb. Jon has agreed to this. Haven't you, Jon? He is my brother and my lord. When father dies, I will swear fealty to Robb as Lord of Winterfell. I will serve him faithfully. I will never raise a claim against him. This I swear before the old gods and the new. The lords murmur. Some seem satisfied. Others, like Rickard Karstark, still look troubled. Roose Bolton speaks. His voice is quiet, but it cuts through the noise. A noble oath, Jon Stark, but oaths are easy to give, harder to keep, especially when circumstances change. What if Lord Eddard dies while you and Robb are still young? What if the lords of the north disagree on who should rule? What if you find yourself with supporters who want you as Lord of Winterfell, not Robb? Will you hold to your oath then? Jon meets his eyes. Yes, I will. Bolton's smile is thin. We shall see if your actions match them. Ned steps in. Enough. I have made my decision. Jon has sworn his oath. This matter is settled. If any man here disputes my authority to name my own heir, speak now, because disputing Ned Stark's authority in his own hall in front of his bannermen would be close to treason. But Jon sees it in their eyes, the doubt, the calculation, the political gears turning. Roose Bolton is right. Words are easy. And when Ned dies, when Robb inherits, there will be lords who remember Robert's decree, who remember that Jon Stark is the elder son, who might decide that law matters more than oaths. The seeds of division have been planted, and Robert, drunk and oblivious, doesn't even know what he's done. Jon sits beneath the heart tree. Ghost lies beside him, the albino direwolf's red eyes watching the shadows. Footsteps. Jon doesn't look up. He knows who it is. Theon Greyjoy sits down on a nearby root. Hell of a day. You know where I come from, the Iron Islands. We don't have this problem. The Ironborn choose their leaders. Kingsmoot, whoever's strongest, cleverest, most respected, they become captain, lord, king. We don't care about who's oldest or who's trueborn. We care about who can lead. That's not how it works in the North. No. In the North, you care about blood, about legitimacy, about following rules written by dead men. Theon picks up a stick, breaks it. Robert just broke all those rules, and now everyone's scrambling to figure out what it means. I know what it means. It means I'm a problem, a threat, even though I don't want to be. Do you know what I think? Theon looks at him. I think you should take it. Jon stares. What? Winterfell? The North. Take it. You're the elder son. Robert legitimized you. The law is on your side. Why shouldn't you be Lord of Winterfell? Because I love him. Because I won't destroy my family for power I don't even want. Noble. Stupid, but noble. Theon tosses the broken stick away. You know what happens to noble people in this world, Jon? They get used, they get betrayed, they get killed, and the people who took what they wanted, they survive. Is that what you do? Take Winterfell from Robb? If I were you, if I had the chance, Theon shrugs. Maybe. Probably I'm a Greyjoy. We take what's ours, we don't apologize for it. I'm not a Greyjoy. No. You're a Stark now, officially. But what does that mean, Jon? What does being a Stark mean to you? Trained like a Stark. Taught to value honor and duty and family above all else. But he was never truly a Stark. Not until yesterday. Not until a drunk king decided to make him one. And now that he is, he doesn't know what it means. Doesn't know if he can live up to it. Theon stands. Think about it. You have power now. Real power, whether you want it or not. The question is, what are you going to do with it? He walks away. Jon sits alone with Ghost. The direwolf nuzzles his hand. Jon scratches behind his ears. What am I going to do, boy? Jon whispers. What am I going to do? Ghost has no answer. The heart tree watches with its carved face. And the gods, old and new, stay silent. The royal procession moves south. Hundreds of people, wagons, horses, knights, servants, the king's party returning to King's Landing with Ned Stark, the new hand of the king. Jon rides near the front with the Stark contingent. He's wearing better clothes now, not quite lordly, but not a bastard's plain leathers either. Gray and white, Stark colors. He still feels like he's wearing a costume. Beside him, Arya rides her horse badly, bouncing in the saddle. I hate this, I hate riding, I hate the South. I hate everything. You haven't even seen the South yet. I don't need to see it. Septa Mordain says it's all proper ladies and stupid courtesies and boring feasts. I'd rather stay in Winterfell and learn to fight. You know how to fight. I taught you myself. Basic stuff. I want to learn real fighting, with real swords, not needlework and dancing. Arya glares at the road ahead. Why did you have to come south, anyway? You're not father's son anymore, not really. You're just Jon Stark. You could have stayed at Winterfell with Robb. Father asked me to come. He thinks it's better if I'm not at Winterfell right now. Because of Mother? After the feast, after Ned's meeting with the lords, Catelyn had made her position clear. She didn't want Jon at Winterfell. Didn't believe his oath. And Ned, trying to keep peace in his family, had suggested that Jon come south to King's Landing, as a royal ward, to learn about the capital, to broaden his horizons. Everyone knew what it really meant. Exile. Gentle, dressed-up exile. But exile nonetheless. Mother's wrong about you. Arya says, you'd never hurt Robb. Anyone with eyes can see that. Lady Catelyn sees what history has taught her to see. Legitimized bastards who rebel, who betray, who tear families apart. You're not Daemon Blackfyre. I know, but she doesn't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Jon looks at his sister. Promise me something. When we get to King's Landing, stay close to Sansa. Watch out for her. She sees the world differently than you do. She thinks everyone is good and honorable, but they're not, especially in the capital. I don't need to watch Sansa. She's boring. Promise me, Arya. Arya rolls her eyes. Fine, I promise. But if she makes me practice needlework, I'm going to scream. We're supposed to be proper now. Arya makes a face. Jon almost smiles. Behind them, Robb rides with Theon. They're talking about something probably hunting, or girls, or both. Robb hasn't spoken to Jon much since they left Winterfell. Not out of anger, just distance. Like he doesn't know what to say anymore. They used to talk about everything. Now they talk about nothing. Jon looks ahead at the road. King's Landing is still weeks away, and he's dreading every mile. The procession stops to make camp. Tents go up, fires are lit, the smell of cooking meat fills the air. Jon helps with his own tent. He's not high-born enough to have servants do it for him, and he prefers it that way. Work keeps his hands busy, keeps his mind from wandering. Jon Stark. He turns. Tyrion Lannister stands there, the imp, the dwarf. Queen Cersei's younger brother. Jon has seen him around the camp but never spoken to him. Tyrion is sharp-eyed, always reading, always watching. He makes people uncomfortable. Lord Tyrion. I'm not a lord of anything, just a clever dwarf with too much wine and too many books. Tyrion gestures to Jon's tent. May I? It's not much. I'm not looking for much. Just conversation. Tyrion steps inside. The tent is barely tall enough for Jon to stand in. Tyrion fits comfortably. Jon follows him in. What do you want? Direct. I like that. Most people dance around what they really mean. You just ask. Tyrion sits on Jon's bedroll uninvited, pulls out a wineskin, drinks. I want to talk about your interesting situation. My situation isn't interesting. It's complicated. Complicated is interesting. You were Jon Snow, bastard of Winterfell, heading to the Night's Watch. Then a drunk king legitimized you. Now you're Jon Stark, trueborn son, heir to Winterfell, except you're not the heir because your father says so and you swore an oath. But legally you might be, depending on who you ask. That's not complicated, that's fascinating. Jon sits on the ground. What do you want, Tyrion? I want to understand you, because you're dangerous. I'm not dangerous. I'm just trying to survive. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. Tyrion drinks again. Let me tell you what I see. I see a boy who didn't ask for power, but got it anyway. A boy who's too honorable to take what the law says is his, but too smart to ignore the political reality. A boy who's trapped between loyalty and legitimacy. That kind of person. That kind of tension. It creates chaos, and chaos is dangerous. I'm not going to challenge Robb. I swore an oath. I know. And I believe you, right now. But oaths are tested, Jon. They're tested when you're hungry, when you're angry, when you're betrayed, when you see injustice. And when that test comes, and it will come, you'll have to choose. Again and again. And eventually, you might choose differently. You don't know me. I know people. I've spent my whole life watching them, studying them, trying to predict what they'll do. Because when you're a dwarf in a world of tall people, you learn to read them, or you die. Tyrion leans forward. You're honorable, like your father, and that's going to get you killed. Because honor is a luxury, and you can't afford luxuries when you're playing the game. I'm not playing any game. You just don't know it yet. Tyrion stands. King's Landing is different from Winterfell, Jon. In the north, honor matters. People keep their word. They value loyalty and duty. In the capital, honor is a punchline. Loyalty is a transaction, and duty is whatever serves your interests. If you go there expecting northern values, you'll be eaten alive. Then why are you telling me this? Because I like you, and because I'm bored, and because watching you navigate King's Landing will be entertaining. Tyrion heads for the tent flap, stops. One more thing. My sister, Queen Cersei, she's going to take an interest in you. Why? Because you're a legitimized bastard close to the king's age, close to her son Joffrey's age. And Cersei is paranoid about threats to her children. She's going to wonder if you're Robert's bastard, if you're competition for Joffrey. I'm not Robert's son. I'm Lord Stark's. I know that. You know that. But Cersei doesn't know that, and she won't believe it even if you tell her. So be careful around her. Don't eat anything she offers you. Don't trust anyone she sends. And for the love of the gods, don't ever be alone with her. You're her brother. Why are you warning me? Tyrion smiles. It's not a happy smile, because I know what she's capable of, and because I'd rather you survive. The world needs more honest people, even if they are doomed. He leaves. Jon sits alone in his tent, thinking about Tyrion's words, about King's Landing, about the game he's supposedly playing without knowing the rules. Outside, the camp settles for the night. Fires burn low. Guards take up positions. And somewhere in the royal tent, Queen Cersei Lannister looks at a list of names. One of them is Jon Stark. The city is massive, stinking, crowded beyond anything Jon has ever seen. 1,000,000 people packed into walls too small to hold them. The smell hits him first. Sewage, sweat, cooking meat, rot, all mixed together. The Red Keep looms above the city. Redstone, 7 towers, the seat of kings. Jon rides through the gates with Ned, Sansa, and Arya. The courtyard is chaos, servants running everywhere, guards taking positions, stable boys grabbing horses. Stay close, Ned tells his daughters. Don't wander. This isn't Winterfell. Sansa looks around with wide, excited eyes. It's beautiful, just like the song said. Arya wrinkles her nose. It smells like horse dung and dead fish. Arya, Ned warns. Jon dismounts. A servant takes his horse without asking. Another servant gestures toward the keep. Lord Stark's chambers are prepared. This way, my lords, my ladies. They follow the servant through corridors, stone and tapestries, guards at every corner. It feels like a prison, not a palace. Jon's chambers are small but comfortable. Better than his room at Winterfell. A bed, a desk, a window overlooking the city. He's been given chambers in the Tower of the Hand, near Ned's rooms. Not quite family quarters, but not servant quarters either. Somewhere in between. He unpacks his few belongings, puts his sword, a plain longsword, nothing special, on the desk, looks out the window at the city below. This is his life now. King's Landing, the capital, the center of power in the 7 kingdoms, and he hates it already. A knock at the door. Come in. A servant enters. Young, nervous. Begging your pardon, my lord, the queen requests your presence in her solar. Now, if you please. Jon's stomach tightens. Cersei, all ready. Tell the queen I'll attend her shortly. The servant bows and leaves. Jon straps on his sword, not because he thinks he'll need it, but because it makes him feel less naked, less vulnerable. He follows the servant's directions through the keep. More corridors, more guards. Finally, to a door guarded by 2 Lannister men in crimson cloaks. They let him through without a word. Cersei's solar is beautiful. Tapestries on the walls, a fire in the hearth despite the warm day, windows overlooking the bay. The queen sits in a high-backed chair, golden hair gleaming, green eyes cold. Jon Stark, how kind of you to come. Her voice is smooth, dangerous, like a snake. Jon bows, not deeply, just enough to be respectful. Your Grace, you summoned me. I did. Sit. There's a chair across from her. Jon sits. Doesn't relax. Cersei studies him. Long enough to make him uncomfortable. You don't look like a Baratheon. I'm not a Baratheon, Your Grace. I'm a Stark. Are you? Dark hair, gray eyes, the long Stark face. Yes, I suppose you are. She pours wine, doesn't offer him any. Tell me about your mother. I don't know who she was. Lord Stark never told me. How convenient. A bastard with no mother. Legitimized by a drunk king, and now you're heir to Winterfell. Quite the rise in fortune. I'm not heir to Winterfell, Robb is. Is he? Because the law says differently. You're the elder son, aren't you? Born during Robert's Rebellion, before Lord Stark married Lady Catelyn. That makes you first in the line of succession. Lord Stark has named Robb his heir. I've sworn an oath to support that decision. Oaths. Cersei's smile is thin. Oaths are wind, Jon Stark, especially when power is at stake. Do you know what I think? No, Your Grace. I think Robert legitimized you because you're his son, not Eddard Stark's. His. One of his many bastards scattered across the 7 kingdoms. Black hair, strong build, born during the war. You fit the profile. Jon's hands tighten on the arms of the chair. I'm not the king's son. Prove it. I don't have to prove anything to you, Your Grace. Cersei's eyes flash. Careful, boy. You're in King's Landing now, not the North. Here, I have power. More power than you can imagine. And if I decide you're a threat to my son, to Joffrey's claim to the Iron Throne, I can make you disappear. Quietly. Permanently. Do you understand me? I understand that you're afraid. You see threats everywhere, even where there aren't any. I'm not Robert's son. I'm not a threat to Joffrey. I'm just trying to do my duty and survive. Brave words. Stupid, but brave. Cersei stands, walks to the window. Let me be clear, Jon Stark. I will be watching you. Every move you make. Every word you speak. every person you befriend. And if I see even a hint, even a whisper, that you're plotting against my son, I will end you. Are we clear? Yes, your grace. Good, you may go. Jon stands, bows, leaves. His heart is pounding, his hands are shaking. He's never been threatened like that before. Never felt that kind of cold, calculated malice. Tyrion was right. King's Landing is different, and Cersei is dangerous. He needs to be more careful, needs to watch his back, because the Queen has already decided he's an enemy. And in King's Landing, enemies don't last long. Jon practices with a sword, alone. The training yard is mostly empty. It's early, and the Lannister guards are lazy, preferring to sleep late. He goes through the forms Roderick Cassel taught him at Winterfell. Strike, parry, spin, block. Again, sweat drips down his face. His muscles burn, but he doesn't stop, can't stop. The work keeps his mind quiet. You're holding your shoulder too high. Jon turns. Sandor Clegane stands at the edge of the yard. The Hound, Joffrey's sworn shield. A massive man with a burned face and a reputation for cruelty. I'm fine. You're not. Your shoulder's too high. Makes your guard weak. Someone fast could slip a blade under it and open your ribs. The Hound walks closer. You want to survive in this city? Fix your form. Why do you care? I don't. But I'm bored, and watching you swing that sword like a boy pretending to be a knight is annoying. Either train properly or get out of the yard. Jon resets his stance, lowers his shoulder, strikes again. Better. But your footwork's still shit. They train for an hour, the Hound correcting Jon's mistakes with brutal honesty. No praise. Just criticism, but it's useful criticism, the kind that makes Jon better. Finally, the Hound steps back. You're not hopeless, but you're soft, northern soft. That'll get you killed down here. I'm not soft, you are. You think honor matters. You think people keep their word. You think if you're good and loyal and true, everything will work out. The Hound's laugh is bitter. It won't. The good people die first. The honorable people get betrayed, and the true people get forgotten. That's the way of the world. Then why are you helping me? The Hound looks at him for a long moment. Because you remind me of someone who thought they could be a knight, a hero, someone who died for it. And I'm curious to see if you'll be smarter than they were. Who? But the Hound doesn't answer. He just walks away, leaving Jon alone in the yard. Jon wipes the sweat from his face, picks up his sword, practices until his arms can't lift the blade anymore. Because the Hound is right. He's soft, he's northern, he's honorable. And in King's Landing, that's a death sentence. 1 week later, Ned sits at the small council table. Robert is absent. He's hunting or drinking or whoring as usual. The other council members are present. Littlefinger, Master of Coin. Varys, Master of Whisperers. Grand Maester Pycelle. Renly Baratheon, Master of Laws. They're discussing grain supplies and taxes and other boring administrative matters. Ned hates it. He's a warrior, not a bureaucrat. After the meeting, Littlefinger approaches. Lord Stark, a word, if you please. Ned doesn't trust Littlefinger, never has. The man is too clever, too smooth, too good at making people think he's on their side. What is it? It's about your son, Jon Stark. I've heard interesting things about him. Ned's eyes narrow. What things? That the Queen has taken an interest in him. That she believes he might be Robert's bastard, legitimized to spite her. That she's concerned about him. Littlefinger's smile is knowing. You should be careful, Lord Stark. Cersei is paranoid, dangerous when she feels threatened. And Jon is a perfect target for her paranoia. Jon is my son, not Robert's. I believe you, but Cersei doesn't. And belief is more powerful than truth in this city. Littlefinger leans in. If I were you, I'd keep Jon close. Watch him carefully. Make sure he doesn't do anything that could be misinterpreted. A hunting accident is so easy to arrange. Are you threatening my son? I'm warning you, there's a difference. Littlefinger steps back. I have no interest in Jon Stark. But Cersei does, and what Cersei wants, she usually gets. One way or another. He walks away. Ned stands alone in the chamber, rage building in his chest. He came to King's Landing to serve Robert, to be Hand of the King, to do his duty. But now his son, his supposed son, the boy he's raised and protected for 14 years, is in danger. Because of Robert's drunken decree, because of Cersei's paranoia, because of the game that Ned doesn't know how to play. He needs to act, needs to protect Jon. But how? The answer comes to him slowly. He needs to investigate Cersei, needs to find out what she's hiding. Because Littlefinger's warning wasn't random. There's something there, something dark. And if Ned can expose it, maybe he can protect Jon, protect his family. He leaves the chamber and goes to find Jon. 2 weeks later, the royal hunting party rides through the forest. Robert leading, as always, booming and laughing. Renly beside him, Barrister Selmy, various knights and lords. And Jon, brought along because Robert insisted. The boy needs to see how a king hunts, Robert had declared. Ned had objected, but Robert wouldn't listen. So Jon rides near the back of the party, uncomfortable and out of place. Robb is here too, looking equally miserable. They've been tracking a boar for hours. The dogs keep losing the scent. Robert keeps drinking. Finally, they corner the animal. A massive boar, tusks like swords, eyes wild. Robert dismounts, grabs a spear. This one's mine. The boar charges. Robert braces, drives the spear forward. But he's drunk and slow. The boar veers at the last second. The spear misses its heart. The boar crashes into Robert, tusks raking across his leg. Robert screams, falls. Barrister moves fast, kills the boar with his sword, but the damage is done. Robert's leg is bleeding, bad. The tusk tore through muscle and tendon. "Get him back to the keep," Renly shouts. Now, the party races back to King's Landing. Jon rides near the front, heart pounding. Robert could die from this. Infection, blood loss, and if Robert dies, he shakes the thought away, focuses on the road. On getting back to the city, they reach the Red Keep. Maesters rush forward, take Robert to his chambers. Ned arrives, face pale. "What happened?" Boar, Renly says. "Gored him, the leg's bad. The Maesters are working on it." Hours pass, the sun sets, the Maesters emerge. Grand Maester Pycelle approaches Ned. The king will live, but the wound is serious. He'll need weeks to recover, perhaps months. He won't be hunting again for a long time. Ned closes his eyes, relief, and then dread, because if Robert is bedridden, that means Ned is in charge. Ned is ruling the realm, and that means making decisions, hard decisions, starting with protecting Jon. Jon walks through the corridors. He's supposed to be attending lessons with Maester Luwin's replacement, a Maester Crescent brought from Dragonstone to tutor him and Sansa in history and letters. But before he reaches the classroom, 2 Lannister guards step out of a side corridor. "Jon Stark, come with us." "Why?" "The Queen wants to see you." Jon's hand moves to his sword. "I'm busy, now." They're ordering. Jon follows them, not because he wants to, but because refusing would cause a scene, and Ned told him to avoid scenes. They lead him through unfamiliar corridors, away from the Tower of the Hand, away from the main keep. Jon's instincts scream at him. This is wrong. This is a trap. Where are we going? The Queen's Solar. This isn't the way to the Queen's Solar. The guards don't answer. They just keep walking. Jon stops. "I'm not going any further." One guard reaches for him. Jon draws his sword. "Don't." The guards draw 2. 3 against 1. Jon's not stupid. He can't win this. But before the fight starts, a door opens. Varys steps out. "Oh my, what's all this?" Guards threatening one of the Hand's sons? Surely there's been some misunderstanding. The guards hesitate. Varys is the master of whisperers. The Spider, a man with power and secrets. The Queen ordered. The Queen is indisposed. She's attending to the king. I'm sure she didn't mean for Jon Stark to be escorted in this manner. Perhaps you've misunderstood your orders. Varys' smile is pleasant. His eyes are not. The guards exchange glances. Back down, sheath their swords. "Apologies, my lord." They leave. Varys looks at Jon. "Put your sword away, young Stark. You won't need it. Not right now. To have an accident, or to be questioned, or perhaps to simply disappear. The Queen is creative in her methods." Varys gestures. "Walk with me, quickly." They move fast. Varys knows every shortcut, every hidden passage. Finally, they reach the Tower of the Hand. Varys stops. "You need to leave King's Landing, Jon Stark. Soon, today if possible. The Queen has decided you're a threat, and when Cersei decides someone is a threat, they tend to die. Quietly and conveniently." "I'm not leaving. My father is Hand of the King. My sisters are here. I'm not abandoning them." Noble. Stupid, but noble. "Very well. Then at least be careful. Don't eat food you didn't see prepared. Don't drink wine unless someone else drinks first. Don't go anywhere alone. And for the love of the gods, don't trust anyone who serves the queen. Why are you helping me? Varys tilts his head. Because I serve the realm, and the realm needs honest people, even if they're inconvenient. He pauses. Also, you remind me of someone who didn't deserve to die but did anyway. I'd rather not see history repeat itself. Who? But Varys doesn't answer. He just walks away, humming softly. Jon stands in the corridor, alone again, heart pounding, hands shaking. Cersei just tried to kill him, or kidnap him, or something. And if Varys hadn't intervened, he'd be dead, or worse. He needs to tell Ned, needs to warn him, because if Cersei is willing to move against Jon, what else is she willing to do? Jon tells Ned everything, the Lannister guards, the strange route, Varys' intervention. Ned listens. His face grows darker with every word. She tried to have you killed. I think so, or taken somewhere. Varys stopped it. Varys. Ned's jaw tightens. I don't trust him, but if he saved you, I owe him. For now. Father, what's going on? Why does Cersei want me dead? I'm not a threat to Joffrey. I'm not even Robert's son. Ned is quiet for a long moment. Too long. Jon's eyes widen. You know something. What is it? He was looking into something before he died. Something about Robert's children? About Joffrey? What about them? Look, every Baratheon child born in the last 300 years, every legitimate Baratheon, what do they all have in common? Jon studies the entries, sees the pattern. Black hair, all of them, every single one. The seed is strong. Baratheon features are dominant. Robert's bastards, all of them have black hair and blue eyes. Maya Stone, Gendry, Edric Storm, all of them Lannister blonde. Exactly. Ned's voice is grim. They're not Robert's children, Jon. They're Jaime's. Cersei's been having an affair with her own twin brother for years. And Joffrey, the boy set to inherit the Iron Throne, is a bastard, a product of incest. Jon sits down. The world tilts. Gods, if that's true, if Robert finds out, he'll execute them all. Cersei, Jaime, maybe even the children, and he'd be within his rights. This is treason, high treason. What are you going to do? I don't know. I need proof, solid proof, more than just hair color. And I need to figure out how to tell Robert without starting a war. Ned looks at Jon. But Cersei knows I'm investigating. She must, and she's acting preemptively, removing threats. And you're a threat, Jon, not because you're Robert's son, but because you're my son, my supposed son, and she thinks by eliminating you she can hurt me, weaken me. So what do? You stay alive, you stay close to me, you don't go anywhere alone, and you don't trust anyone except Robb, Sansa, Arya, and Jory. Ned grips Jon's shoulder. I brought you here to keep you safe from Winterfell's politics, but I've put you in worse danger, and I'm sorry. I should have left you in the north. I could have stayed. You came because I asked you to, because you thought it was your duty, but duty doesn't mean dying for nothing. Ned stands. Go to your chambers. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone except me or Jory. I need to think. I need to plan. Jon stands, heads for the door, stops. Father, if Cersei's willing to kill me to protect her secret, what will she do to you? Ned doesn't answer, but Jon sees it in his eyes, the same thought, the same fear. They're both in danger, and the game is deadlier than either of them realized. Robert is bedridden, his leg is bandaged and splinted. The wound is healing, but slowly. He's sober for once. The maesters forbid wine while he's recovering. Ned sits beside the bed. How are you feeling? Like I was gored by a boar. Because I was. Robert shifts, wincing. Gods, I hate being useless. Lying here while the realm falls apart. The realm is fine. Renly and I are managing things. You're managing things. Renly's just sitting there looking pretty. Robert waves a hand. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Jon. What about him? Cersei's been asking questions. About his mother. About when he was born. About whether he's mine. Robert looks at Ned. Is he? No. Jon is my son, not yours. You're sure? I'm sure. Robert studies him. You're lying. You're a terrible liar, Ned. Always have been. But I'll let it pass. If you say Jon's yours, he's yours. I trust you. Thank you. But Cersei doesn't. She thinks I legitimized him because he's my bastard, and she's planning something. I can feel it. She's too quiet, too calm. That's when she's most dangerous. I know. She already tried to have Jon taken. Varys intervened. Robert's face goes red. She what? Varys stopped it. But Robert, if Cersei is moving against Jon, what else is she planning? I'll talk to her, I'll smile, and then she'll try again. More carefully this time. Robert slumps back. What do I do, Ned? How do I stop her? You can't, not while you're in this bed. But I can. I've been investigating her. Jon Arryn was looking into something before he died. Something about Joffrey. About your children. The moment he tells Robert the truth. The moment that could start a war. Robert, your children aren't yours. Silence. Robert stares. What did you say? They're Jaime's. Cersei's been unfaithful with her own brother. For years. Robert's face goes from red to purple. You're lying. I'm not. Look at them, Robert. Really look. They all have golden hair, green eyes, Lannister features, not a trace of Baratheon. And every Baratheon child for 300 years has had black hair. The seed is strong. Your seed. But not in them. Because they're not yours. Fails. Falls back, breathing hard. Proof. I need proof. I have lineage records. Testimonies. Jon Arryn's notes, he discovered it before he died. That's why Cersei had him poisoned, to silence him. I believe so. And now she's moving against anyone else who knows, or suspects. That includes Jon, that includes me, and eventually that will include you. Robert's hands are shaking. Rage. Pure incandescent rage. That bitch. That Lannister bitch. She's been cuckolding me, with her own brother. And those things she calls children are bastards, products of incest, and Joffrey is set to inherit the Iron Throne. No, I'll kill them. All of them. Cersei, Jaime, Joffrey, He tries to stand. The wound tears open. Blood soaks through the bandages. Ned grabs him. Robert, stop. You're hurting yourself. I don't care. I'll kill them. The maesters rush in, force Robert back into bed, give him milk of the poppy to calm him. He fights, rages, but the drug takes hold. His eyes go glassy, his breathing slows. He looks at Ned. Promise me you'll protect Jon and your daughters. And when I can stand, when I can walk, I'll execute Cersei myself. I promise. Good. Robert's eyes close. The seed is strong, Ned. Always was. Should have seen it. Should have known. Ned stands in the chamber, surrounded by maesters and guards. And he knows that he's just set something in motion that can't be stopped. Cersei will find out. She has spies everywhere. She'll know that Robert knows, that Ned knows. And when she does, she'll strike. Hard and fast. Ned needs to move first. Needs to protect his children. Needs to get them out of King's Landing before it's too late. But he's already too late. Because at that moment, in another part of the Red Keep, Varys is whispering in Cersei's ear. And Cersei is smiling. 2 days later, Jon practices in the training yard. Alone again. Early morning. The sun barely up. He goes through the forms. Strike, parry, block, repeat. His mind is elsewhere. On Ned's revelation. On Cersei's secret. On the danger they're all in. Joffrey is a bastard. The future king is a product of incest. And Cersei knows, or will know soon, that Robert knows. Jon swings harder, faster, trying to burn away the anxiety. You're distracted. The hound stands at the edge of the yard. Your form's sloppy. Mine somewhere else? I'm fine. You're not. Something's wrong. I can smell it. The hound walks closer. Let me guess. You've figured out the secret, the one everyone in the Red Keep knows but nobody says out loud. What secret? The golden-haired royal bastards. Joffrey and his siblings. Not Robert's. Never were. The hound's scarred face shows no emotion. You think you're the first person to notice? Half the court knows. They just don't say it because saying it means dying. Does Joffrey know? No. The boy's too stupid and too cruel to see the truth, even if it bit him. But Cersei knows, and Jaime knows, and they'll kill anyone who threatens to expose it. The hound picks up a practice sword. You're in danger, boy, more than you realize. If I were you, I'd leave. Today, now, get on a horse and ride north before it's too late. I can't leave my father, my sisters. Then you'll die with them. The hound tosses him the practice sword. One more round, and this time focus. Dying distracted is embarrassing. They spar, hard. The hound doesn't hold back. Jon barely keeps up, but he learns, adapts, survives when they finish. Jon is bleeding from a split lip and bruised ribs. The hound hasn't broken a sweat. Better, not good, but better. The hound drops his sword. Whatever's coming, it's coming soon. Be ready, and when the time comes, don't hesitate. Hesitation kills. He walks away. Jon stands in the yard, breathing hard, looking at the Red Keep's towers, the windows, the walls. It feels like a prison, and he's trapped inside. Ned stands before the Iron Throne, not sitting on it, he'd never presume, but standing in the throne room, holding court in Robert's name while the king recovers. Petitions, disputes, tedious bureaucratic matters. Ned handles them all with patience he doesn't feel. Littlefinger stands nearby watching. Varys hovers at the edges, listening. Renly is absent, probably with his friends, laughing and drinking. The doors open. Cersei enters. The room goes quiet. She's dressed in crimson and gold, hair perfect, smile cold. She walks straight to Ned. Lord Stark, I need to speak with you, privately. Ned's hand moves to his sword. Instinct. Whatever you have to say, you can say it here. Very well. Cersei looks around the room, at the courtiers, the guards, the lords and ladies watching. I'm arresting you for treason. The room erupts, gasps, shouts. Ned stares. What? You conspired with enemies of the crown. You plotted to overthrow the rightful heir. You spread lies about the royal children. Treason, Lord Stark, high treason. This is insane. Robert knows. Robert is unconscious, drugged by the maesters on MY orders. He won't wake for days. And by then, you'll be in the black cells awaiting trial. Cersei gestures. Lannister guards pour into the room. 20, 30, more. Ned draws his sword. The Stark guards, Jory Cassell, Allen, Harwin, a dozen others, draw theirs. I'm the hand of the king. You have no authority to arrest me. I have every authority. I'm the Queen Regent. Robert is incapacitated. I rule in his stead. And I say you're a traitor. Cersei's smile widens. Lay down your sword, Lord Stark, or I'll have your daughters killed, right now. Sansa is in her chambers. Arya is in the sept. My guards are already moving. Surrender, or they die. Ned's sword wavers. You wouldn't. Try me. Silence. Long and terrible. Littlefinger steps forward. Lord Stark, I'd listen to her. For your daughter's sake? Ned looks at Jory. At his men. They're outnumbered 5-1. And if Cersei has Sansa and Arya, he drops his sword. I yield, but leave my daughters alone. They're innocent. They're traitors' children, but I'm feeling merciful. They'll be held as guests. For now, Cersei nods to the guards. Take him. The black cells. No visitors. No light. Let him think about his choices. The guards seize Ned. Drag him away. Jory tries to follow. A Lannister sword cuts him down. He dies on the throne room floor. Jory! Ned screams. But it's too late. His oldest friend, his companion, dead. The Stark guards stand frozen, outnumbered, helpless. Cersei looks at them. Drop your weapons, now, or join him. They have no choice. Cersei walks to the Iron Throne, sits, looks out at the court. Let it be known, Eddard Stark, Lord of Winterfell and former Hand of the King, has been arrested for treason. He will be tried, and if found guilty, he will be executed. Anyone who supports him will share his fate. This audience is dismissed. The court empties, fast. No one wants to be seen, no one wants to be next. Littlefinger lingers. My queen, what about Jon Stark? He's still in the Tower of the Hand. Bring him to me, alive if possible. But if he resists, kill him. Jon is in his room when he hears the shouting, running footsteps, the clash of steel. He grabs his sword, opens the door, bleeding from a shoulder wound. Jon, it's a coup. The Queen's arrested your father. Lannister guards are coming for everyone. Where are my sisters? Don't know, but we need to get you out of here. Now! More footsteps. Lannister guards round the corner. 6 of them, swords drawn. Jon Stark, by order of Queen Cersei, you're under arrest. Jon looks at Harwin, at the guards, at the narrow corridor. He could run, try to escape, Find Sansa and Arya, get them out of the Red Keep. Or he could fight. Try to rescue Ned. Try to stop this madness. The Hound's words echo. Don't hesitate. Hesitation kills. Jon charges, his sword meets the first guard's blade. Sparks. The man is armored, trained. But Jon is faster. He ducks under a swing, drives his sword into the gap under the man's arm. The guard screams, falls. Harwin fights beside him, wounded but deadly. Takes down another guard. But more are coming. Jon can hear them. Boots pounding, shouts. This is suicide. Harwin, we can't win this. Then we die fighting. They push forward, down the corridor, toward the throne room. If they can reach Ned, if they can free him, maybe... Jon, get your sisters. Harwin dies. Jon stands, alone now, surrounded by Lannister guards. 10, 12. Too many. He raises his sword. Come on. They rush him. Jon fights. Kills one, wounds another. But they're too many. A sword pommel smashes into his head. He staggers. Another blow to his ribs. He falls. Boots kick him, hands grab him, drag him. He struggles, fights, but they're too strong. A voice, cold, familiar. Enough! Don't kill him, the Queen wants him alive. Tyrion Lannister stands in the corridor, looking down at Jon with something like pity. Take him to the dungeons, put him with the other Stark guards, and get a maester. The Queen wants him healthy enough to stand trial. They drag Jon away. He sees Jory's body in the throne room as they pass. Harwin's in the corridor. More Stark guards dead, butchered. His family's men, dead because they followed Ned, dead because they tried to protect Jon. And Jon couldn't save any of them. They throw him in a cell. Dark, cold, wet stone. The door slams shut. Jon curls up in the corner, bleeding, broken, alone. And he understands, finally, what Tyrion meant. What the Hound meant. What everyone tried to tell him, King's Landing isn't Winterfell. Honor doesn't matter here. Loyalty doesn't matter. Only power. And Jon has none? 3 days later, Jon sits in darkness. They've given him water, bread, enough to survive. But nothing else. His wounds have festered. His head throbs. His ribs scream with every breath. He doesn't know what happened to Ned, to Sansa, to Arya. The guards won't tell him anything. Footsteps in the corridor, torchlight, the cell door opens, Tyrion enters, alone. Hello, Jon Stark, you look terrible. Tyrion sits on the floor across from him, pulls out a wineskin, drinks. I brought you something, news. I thought you'd want to know what's happening in the world above. Where's my father? In a cell like this? Maybe worse? Cersei hasn't decided whether to execute him immediately or make a show of it. She's leaning toward a trial. Public. Dramatic. You know how she loves theater. And my sisters? Sansa is in her chambers, under guard. She's being treated well. Cersei wants to keep her as a hostage. Marry her to Joffrey eventually. Cement the alliance between Stark and Lannister. Tyrion pauses. Arya is missing. Jon's head snaps up. What? Gone. Disappeared. No one can find her. She ran when the coup started. The gold cloaks are searching, but Tyrion shrugs. Your little sister is clever and small. She could be anywhere. Part of me hopes she escaped. The other part knows she's probably dead in an alley somewhere. Jon closes his eyes. Arya. Missing. Maybe dead. And he can't do anything. Why are you here, Tyrion? Because I'm curious. And because I'm trying to decide if you're worth saving. I'm not worth anything. I'm a prisoner, a failed son. I couldn't even protect my family. True, you failed. Spectacularly. But that doesn't mean you're worthless. Tyrion leans forward. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Ned Stark will be tried for treason. He'll be found guilty because Cersei will make sure of it. Then Joffrey, my darling psychotic nephew, will decide Ned's fate. If we're lucky, Joffrey sends him to the wall. If we're not, Joffrey has him executed. And me? You're complicated. Legally, you're Jon Stark. A legitimized son. That makes you important. Cersei could use you as a hostage to control the North. Or she could kill you to send a message. She hasn't decided yet. What do you want, Tyrion? I want to offer you a choice. 2 options. Both terrible. But at least you get to choose. What options? Tyrion stands, paces the small cell. Option 1. I help you escape. Tonight. I bribe the guards. Open the cell, give you a horse and supplies. You ride north as fast as you can, get to Winterfell. Warn Robb. Tell him what happened. Rally the North. In exchange for what? Nothing. I do it because I dislike my sister, because I think Ned Stark is a good man who doesn't deserve to die, and because you remind me that not everyone in this world is a scheming bastard. Tyrion pauses. But if you choose this option, Ned dies. I can't save both of you. Just you, and your father will be executed. Jon's stomach twists. What's the second option? You stay. You cooperate. You publicly swear loyalty to King Joffrey. You bend the knee. You say your father was a traitor and you renounce him. And in exchange, Cersei might let Ned live. Send him to the wall instead of executing him. You want me to betray my father. I want you to save his life. There's a difference. Jon looks at Tyrion, at the dwarf who's offering him impossible choices. Why are you doing this? Why help me at all? Because I'm a Lannister, and Lannisters pay their debts. And you, Jon Stark, are one of the few decent people in this cesspool of a city. I'd like to see you survive, even if it costs you your pride. Tyrion heads for the door, stops. You have until tonight to decide. Option 1, escape and Ned dies. Option 2, submit and Ned might live. Choose wisely, because you won't get another chance. He leaves. The door closes. The darkness returns. Jon sits alone, thinking about his father, about his sisters, about Robb and Winterfell and everything he's lost. And he knows what he has to do. The cell door opens. Tyrion enters with a Lannister guard. The guard is nervous, bought, bribed. Well, Tyrion asks, have you decided? I've decided. And I choose option 1. I escape. I go north. I warn Robb. Tyrion nods. I thought you might. Your father would be proud. Stupid, but proud. He gestures to the guard. Open the chains. The guard unlocks Jon's wrists, hands him a cloak, a sword, a small pouch of coins. The gate is heavily guarded, Tyrion says. But there's a postern door. Northeastern corner, it's watched, but only by 2 men. I've bribed one. You'll have to deal with the other. After that, a horse is waiting in the stables outside the walls. Ride hard. Don't stop until you're past the neck. Why are you doing this, really? Tyrion's smile is sad. Because I know what it's like to be hated for something you can't control. To be called a monster because of how you were born. And I see that same look in your eyes, the look of someone who didn't ask for any of this but got it anyway. He pauses. Also, Cersei will be furious when she finds out you escaped. And that alone is worth the risk. What about my father? I'll do what I can. But I'm not a miracle worker. If Joffrey wants Ned dead, Ned will die. All I can do is try to delay it. Give Robb time to march south. To maybe negotiate. And Sansa is safer as Joffrey's hostage than she would be anywhere else. Cersei won't kill her. She's too valuable. Tyrion's face darkens. But I'll watch over her. Make sure Joffrey doesn't hurt her. You have my word. Jon nods. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just survive, and when you see Robb, tell him to be smart. Tell him not to march on King's Landing in rage. Tell him to play the game carefully, because if he doesn't, the North will burn. Tyrion leaves. The guard leads Jon through dark corridors, secret passages, places the servants use, places no one watches. They reach the postern door. 2 guards outside. One nods to Jon's escort. Lets them pass. The other reaches for his sword. What's this? Jon doesn't hesitate. His sword is out. He cuts the man down before he can shout. The bribed guard looks at the body. Gods, Cersei's going to kill me. Then run. Disappear. Don't be here when they find him. Jon slips out into the night. The city is dark. Quiet. He runs through streets, staying in shadows. Finds the stables Tyrion mentioned. A horse is there, saddled, provisions in the bags. Jon mounts, rides toward the city gates. They're closed. But there's a small side gate, used by farmers, lightly guarded. He approaches. A gold cloak stops him. No one leaves the city without. Jon throws the coin pouch. Gold spills out. The gold cloak looks at it. At Jon. At the horse. Go. Fast, before I change my mind. Jon rides. Out of King's Landing. Onto the King's Road. North. Behind him the Red Keep looms. His father is in there. Sansa is in there, both hostages. Both in danger. And Jon is running away. But he's not running away. He's going for help. He's going to Winterfell, to Robb, to rally the North, because that's the only way to save them. That's what he tells himself, over and over. As he rides through the night, it's not running away, it's strategy. But it feels like cowardice. 3 weeks later, Jon rides into River Run. He's exhausted, half-starved. The horse beneath him is ready to collapse. But he's alive, and he's here. The Tully banners fly over the castle, and beside them, northern banners, the dire wolf of House Stark. Robb is here, the northern army is here. Jon dismounts, staggers toward the gates. Guards stop him. I'm Jon Stark. I need to see Robb Stark. Now. His clothes are torn. He looks like a beggar. But one guard, an Umberman, recognizes him. That's him. That's Jon Snow. Jon Stark. Let him through. To the great hall, Robb sits at the high table with the northern lords, the Great Jon, Roose Bolton, Rickard Karstark, Maegay Mormont, dozens of others. They're planning, arguing. Maps spread across the table. Jon walks in. Everyone stops, stares. Robb stands. Jon. Gods. Jon, we thought you were dead. He runs to Jon, embraces him. Jon almost collapses in his arms. Father, Jon gasps. They have father. Cersei arrested him, charged him with treason. I don't know if he's alive. I don't. We know, Robb says. A raven came from King's Landing. Cersei says father confessed to treason, that he's going to be sent to the wall. But Robb's face is grim. We don't know if we can trust her. You can't. She's a liar, a murderer. Joffrey's not Robert's son. None of them are. They're Jaime's. Products of incest. Father discovered it. That's why Cersei moved against him. The hall erupts, shouts, denials, questions. The Great Jon roars. Quiet. Silence returns. Robb looks at Jon. Are you sure? I'm sure. Father told me himself, showed me the proof, the lineage records, the hair color, everything. Joffrey is a bastard, and Cersei knows we know. That's why she arrested father. That's why she's moving against the Starks. Roose Bolton speaks, his voice quiet, dangerous. If this is true, it changes everything. Joffrey has no claim to the throne. The succession is void, and the realm will descend into chaos. We should march on King's Landing, free Ned, execute Cersei and her bastard children. Take the capital. No. Jon's voice is firm. We can't. Cersei has Sansa. And father, if we march on the capital, she'll kill them both. We need to be smart. We need to negotiate, the Great Jon spits. With Lannisters, they don't negotiate. They lie and scheme and stab you in the back. Then what do you suggest? Robb asks. How do we save father without getting him killed? The hall goes quiet. No one has an answer. Finally, Jon speaks. I have father's will. He wrote it before he was arrested. Gave it to Varys to pass to me. He pulls out the document, sealed with Ned's seal, hands it to Robb. Robb breaks the seal, reads. His face goes pale, then hard. What does it say? The Great Jon demands. Robb looks up. It says I'm his heir, that Jon has sworn loyalty to me, that the succession is clear, and that if he dies, I'm to be Lord of Winterfell and Warden of the North. He pauses. It also says I'm to avoid war if possible, to protect the family, to not let rage guide me. To hell with that, Karstark growls. They have our lord, they killed our men, we owe them blood. I, the Great Jon, agrees. Blood for blood. Other lords shout agreement. The hall is on the edge of chaos. Robb raises his hand. Enough. The hall quiets. Robb looks at Jon. What do you think? You were there? You saw what happened? What should we do? Jon takes a breath. I think we call the banners, we gather the North. We show Cersei that we're strong, that we won't be cowed. But we don't march on King's Landing. Not yet. We make her negotiate. We use our strength as leverage. And we get father back. Alive. And if she refuses, then we go to war. But we do it smart. We do it when we're ready. Not out of rage, not out of grief, but because it's the right move. Roose Bolton studies Jon. Wise words, almost too wise for a boy of 14. Have you been reading Machiavelli? I've been learning from experience, the hard way. Robb nods slowly. All right, we do it Jon's way. For now, we call the banners. We gather strength, we prepare for war. But we don't start it. Not yet. Not until we know father's fate. The lords grumble. but they accept it because Robb is their leader, their king, though he hasn't claimed the title yet. After the meeting, Robb and Jon walk alone in the Godswood. "I thought you were dead," Robb says quietly. "When we heard about the coup, about Father's arrest, I thought Cersei killed you too." "She tried. Tyrion helped me escape." "Tyrion Lannister, why?" "I don't know. He said he likes me, that he hates his sister, that he wants to see me survive." Jon pauses. "He's not like the other Lannisters. He's different. He's still a Lannister. Don't trust him." "I don't, but I owe him my life, and I won't forget that." They walk in silence. The heart tree watches them with carved eyes. "Jon," Robb says, "when this is over, when Father's safe and Cersei's dealt with, what do you want? Do you still want Winterfell? Do you still want to be Lord?" "No, I never wanted that. You're the heir. Father's will confirms it. I swore an oath, and I meant it. I'll serve you, Robb, as your brother and your bannerman, for as long as I live. Even if it costs you everything, I've already lost everything that matters. Father's a prisoner. Sansa's a hostage. Arya's missing, probably dead. The only thing I have left is family, and I won't destroy that for a claim I never wanted." Robb grips Jon's shoulder. "You're a better man than I am. I'm not. I'm just tired. Tired of fighting for things I don't want. Tired of being a problem. I just want to be Jon, your brother. Nothing more. You'll always be my brother. No matter what Robert said, no matter what the law says. We're pack. Starks are pack." Jon nods. "Pack." They stand together beneath the heart tree. Two brothers, two Starks, preparing for war. 6 weeks later, Eddard Stark kneels on the steps of the Sept, hands bound, head bowed. The crowd surrounds him, thousands of people, shouting, jeering, calling for blood. On a platform above, Joffrey Baratheon sits on a throne, golden-haired, green-eyed, 12 years old and cruel beyond his years. Sansa Stark stands beside him, pale and terrified. Cersei stands nearby. Smiling, the High Septon reads the charges. "Eddard Stark, Lord of Winterfell, you have been found guilty of treason. You plotted to usurp the rightful king. You spread lies about the royal family. You conspired with enemies of the realm. How do you answer?" Ned's voice is steady. "I confess. I am guilty. I plotted against King Joffrey. I am a traitor, and I ask for mercy, for myself, for my family. I will take the black. Join the Night's Watch. Serve the realm for the rest of my days." The crowd goes quiet, waiting. This is the moment. Joffrey is supposed to grant mercy. Send Ned to the wall. That was the deal Cersei made. Cersei leans toward Joffrey. "Grant him mercy, your grace. Send him to the wall. Show the realm you're wise and just." Joffrey looks at her, at Sansa, at the crowd. He stands. The traitor Eddard Stark has confessed his crimes. He asks for mercy, and I deny it. Cersei's face goes white. "Joffrey, no. I am the king," Joffrey shouts. "Not you. I decide." And I say, "Sir Island, bring me his head." The crowd roars. Sansa screams. "No, please, you promised, you promised." Ser Island Payne, the king's justice, steps forward, draws ice, Ned's own sword, taken from him when he was arrested. The Valyrian steel blade gleams in the sun. Ned doesn't fight, doesn't plead. He looks at Sansa. "Tell Robb I'm sorry. Tell Jon, tell him I was proud, always proud." Eddard Stark, Lord of Winterfell, Hand of the King, dies on the steps of the great Sept of Baelor. His blood stains the stones red. The Raven arrives at dawn. Jon is in the yard, training with Robb. When a maester runs out, "My lords, a raven, from King's Landing." Robb takes the message, reads. His face goes white, then red, then purple with rage. "What?" Jon asks. "What does it say?" Robb's hands are shaking. "Father's dead. Joffrey executed him on the steps of the Sept, in front of the whole city. Jon can't breathe, can't think. The world tilts. No, that's not. Cersei said she'd send him to the wall. She said she lied, or Joffrey defied her. It doesn't matter. Father's dead, murdered, and the Lannisters did it." Jon falls to his knees. Ned, dead. The man who raised him, protected him, loved him despite everything, gone. Robb is shaking, not with grief, with rage, pure incandescent rage. "Call the banners," Robb says. His voice is ice, all of them. every house, every sword. We're going to war. Robb, I don't want to hear it, Jon. They killed our father, they murdered him like a dog, and they're going to pay. Every single one of them. The Northern Lords gather. Word spreads, Ned Stark is dead, and the North remembers. That night the Lords meet in the Great Hall of Riverrun. Jon stands at the back, silent, watching. The great Jon stands. My lords, the king in the south killed our liege lord. He murdered Eddard Stark, and for that there's only one answer. War. The hall roars agreement. But there's a question, the great Jon continues. Who do we fight for? Who leads us? Joffrey calls himself king, but he's a Lannister bastard with no claim. We could declare for Stannis, Robert's brother, the lawful heir, or Renly if we prefer him. Or, Roose Bolton says quietly, we could declare for ourselves. The hall goes silent. What do you mean? Rickard Karstark asks. I mean the North has knelt to the Iron Throne for 300 years, since Torrhen Stark bent the knee to Aegon the Conqueror. But why? What has the South ever done for us? They murdered our lord. They hold our lady hostage. They disrespect us at every turn. Why should we bow to them? The great Jon's eyes light up. You're saying independence? I'm saying the North should have a king again. A king in the North. Like we did before the Targaryens came. Like we should have always had. Mage Mormont stands. And who would this king be? Roose looks at Robb, the son of Eddard Stark, the Lord of Winterfell, the heir to the North, the king in the North. Other lords stand, draw their swords, the king in the North, the king in the North. Robb looks at Jon, uncertain, overwhelmed. Jon steps forward, kneels before Robb. I, Jon Stark, swear fealty to Robb Stark, the king in the North. I pledge my sword, my life, and my loyalty. From this day until my last day, the hall goes quiet, watching. Robb looks down at Jon, at his brother kneeling before him. Rise, Jon, you don't have to kneel to me. Yes, I do. You're my king, and I'm your bannerman. That's what Father's will said. That's what I swore, and I'll keep that oath until I die. Jon stands, faces the hall. Lord Stark named Robb his heir, and I support that choice. Robb is the king in the North, and anyone who questions that will answer to me. The lords roar approval. The matter is settled. Robb Stark is crowned king in the North, the first king in the North since Torrhen Stark bent the knee 300 years ago. And Jon Stark, legitimized son and potential rival, kneels before him. The division Robert created, the chaos, the uncertainty, is ended. But the price was Ned's life. 3 months later, the war rages. The North fights the Lannisters. Robb wins battles, captures Jaime Lannister at the Whispering Wood, defeats Tywin's forces in the Riverlands. But the Ironborn betray them. Theon Greyjoy, given a mission by Robb, instead turns traitor. Takes Winterfell, holds it with Ironborn raiders. Word reaches Robb's camp. Jon is standing beside him when the Raven arrives. Robb reads. His face goes gray. Winterfell has fallen. Theon holds it. Bran and Rickon they're missing, presumed dead. Jon's world shatters. Bran, Rickon, his little brothers, dead? No, they can't be. Theon wouldn't. Theon did. He burned bodies, displayed them on the walls. The whole North knows. Jon grabs Robb's arm. Let me go. Let me take men north. I'll retake Winterfell. I'll find Bran and Rickon. Robb's voice is hard. I can't abandon the war in the South. Jaime is our hostage. Father's bones need to be brought home. Sansa is still in King's Landing. I need you here. But we'll take it back. I swear to you, Jon, we'll take it back. Jon wants to argue, wants to ride north immediately, but he swore an oath, and he meant it. Let me go alone then. With a small force, we can move fast, retake Winterfell before Theon knows we're coming. Robb considers. How many men? 50, 100 at most. Northern men, ones who know the castle, know the land. Roose Bolton speaks up. I can spare men, your grace, some of my best. They'll serve Jon Stark well. Robb nods slowly. All right, Jon, you have command. Take 100 men, ride north, retake Winterfell. Find Bran and Rickon, and bring me Theon Greyjoy's head. Alive would be better. You should be the one to judge him, as king. Fine, bring him alive. But if he resists, if he fights, if he tries to escape, kill him. He betrayed us, Jon. He betrayed our family. He doesn't deserve mercy. That night, Jon prepares, checks his armor, his sword, his supplies. A knock at his tent. Roose Bolton enters. Jon Stark. "May I have a word?" Jon nods. Wary, he doesn't trust Bolton, never has. The man is too cold, too calculating. Bolton sits. "I'm giving you some of my best men. Loyal, skilled. They'll serve you well." "Thank you, my lord. But I want something in exchange. When you retake Winterfell, when you secure the North, remember who helped you. Remember that House Bolton stood with you when others wavered." "I'll remember." "Good. Because the North is changing, Jon. Robb is king now, but kings need strong bannermen, loyal bannermen, and I intend to be the strongest." Bolton stands. "Take Winterfell. Save your brothers. And when this war is over, when the dust settles, we'll talk about the future, about what the North needs, about who should lead it." He leaves before Jon can respond. Jon sits alone, thinking about Bolton's words, about the implication. Bolton is planning something, playing a long game, and Jon is a piece on the board. But he doesn't have time to worry about that. He has a mission: Winterfell, Bran, Rickon. He'll deal with Bolton later. 1 month later, Jon and his men approach Winterfell in darkness. The castle is lightly defended. Theon doesn't have enough Ironborn to man all the walls. Jon knows the secret ways in, the hidden passages, the tunnels. He grew up here. They slip inside through the crypts, move through the castle like ghosts. The Ironborn never see them coming. Jon leads the attack personally. His sword cuts through Theon's men. No mercy, no hesitation. They fight their way to the Great Hall. Theon is there, drunk and surrounded by a handful of guards. When he sees Jon, his face goes white. "Jon, brother, I can explain. I'm not your brother. I never was." Jon's sword is at Theon's throat. "You betrayed Robb. You took Winterfell. You killed Bran and Rickon. Give me one reason not to kill you right now." "I didn't kill them," Theon's voice cracks. "I swear. The bodies on the walls, they weren't Bran and Rickon. They were millboys to make people think I'd killed them. But I didn't. I couldn't." Jon's sword wavers. "Where are they? Where are Bran and Rickon?" "I don't know. They escaped. Osha took them. I looked everywhere but couldn't find them." "I swear, Jon, they're alive." Jon doesn't know whether to believe him. But he can't kill Theon, not until he knows for sure. Take him. Put him in chains. We'll bring him to Robb. Let the king decide his fate. The men drag Theon away. Jon stands in the Great Hall of Winterfell, his home. Retaken, but it feels empty, wrong, damaged. He searches the castle, every room, every corridor, looking for signs of Bran and Rickon. He finds Hodor, hiding in the stables. The gentle giant is terrified. "Hodor, it's me, Jon. Where are Bran and Rickon?" Hodor says, but he gestures toward the crypts. Jon runs, down the stone steps, into the darkness. And there, hidden behind his mother's, Lyanna's tomb, he finds them. Bran, Rickon, Osha, alive. "Jon," Bran cries. You came for us." Jon kneels, pulls his brothers into his arms. "I'll always come for you. Always." Rickon is crying. Bran is trying to be brave. Osha watches with hard eyes. "You took the castle?" Osha asks. "Yes. Theon is captured. Winterfell is ours again," making the whole North think they were dead. Jon looks at Bran, at Rickon. They're alive, scared, damaged, but alive. He's saved them, kept them safe, and for the first time since Ned died, Jon feels like he's done something right. 6 months later, the war in the South continues. Robb fights, wins battles, loses some. The Lannisters are strong. Tywin is clever. But the North is secure. Winterfell stands. Bran and Rickon are safe. Jon has been named Warden of Winterfell. Robb's decree. He rules in the king's name while Robb fights in the South. It's strange, being in charge, giving orders, making decisions, being Jon Stark, Warden. But he does it, because it's his duty, because Robb trusts him, because the North needs stability. A raven arrives. Jon reads it in the Great Hall. It's from Robb. The war goes poorly. Tywin has reinforcements from the Tyrells. We're outnumbered. I'm negotiating, trying to end this without more bloodshed. Come south if you can. I need you. Jon looks at Bran. His brother is 12 now. learning to be a lord, learning to rule. I have to go south. Robb needs me. I know. I'll take care of Winterfell, I promise. Jon ruffles his hair. I know you will. You're a Stark. We keep our promises. He rides south with a small force. Leaves Winterfell in Bran's hands. When he reaches Robb's camp, his brother looks exhausted. Older, like the war has aged him 10 years. Jon, thank the gods. They embrace. What's happening? We're losing. Not on the battlefield, we win most of the fights. But we can't hold territory, can't take King's Landing, can't rescue Sansa. And the longer this goes on, the more men we lose, the more the North suffers. What do you want to do? Robb looks at him. I want to negotiate, end this war, get Sansa back, secure the North's independence, and move on. What are the Lannisters offering? They'll recognize me as king in the North, they'll return Sansa, they'll leave the North alone. In exchange, I bend the knee to Tommen, Joffrey's younger brother. Joffrey died, poisoned at his own wedding, so Tommen is king now. Do you trust them? No, but I don't have a choice. The North is bleeding. Our men are dying, and I need to think about our people, not just revenge. Jon nods. Then negotiate, make peace, get Sansa home. What about you? What do you want? Jon looks at his brother, his king. I want what I've always wanted, to serve you, to protect our family, to keep the North safe. Robb grips his shoulder. You've done that, Jon. More than I could have asked. You saved Bran and Rickon. You retook Winterfell. You've proven yourself 1,000 times over. I just did my duty. No, you did more than duty. You've been loyal when others would have challenged me. You've been humble when you could have claimed power. You've been the best brother anyone could ask for. Jon doesn't know what to say to that. When this is over, Robb continues, when we have peace, I'm making it official. You'll be Warden of Winterfell, not just in practice, but in title. You'll be my sword in the North, my voice when I'm not there, my brother and my right hand. Always. What about the succession? What about your children? My children will inherit the crown, the North, but you'll serve them as you've served me, as protector, as guardian, as family. Robb pauses. Unless you don't want that, unless you'd rather go to the Wall, join the Night's Watch like you originally planned. Jon thinks about the Wall, about the life he almost had, about the choice he made all those months ago when Robert legitimized him. No, I don't want the Wall. I want to stay here, with you, with our family, for as long as you'll have me. Then it's settled. You're the sword of the North, Jon Stark, and you always will be. 5 years later, the war is over. Peace was made. The North is independent. Robb is king in the North, ruling from Winterfell with a Frey wife and 2 young sons. Sansa was returned. She's married to a northern lord now, safe, happy as much as she can be after everything she's seen. Arya was found. Alive, she'd been hiding in Flea Bottom the whole time, learning to survive, learning to fight. She came home changed. Harder. But still Arya. Bran is Lord of Winterfell under Robb, learning to rule, growing into his responsibilities. Rickon is wild, untamed, but alive and well. And Jon? Jon stands on the battlements of Winterfell looking north. Ghost beside him, the dire wolf is massive now, white as snow, silent as death. Still thinking about going to the Wall? Jon turns, Robb approaches. He's 20 now, a man, a king, but still Jon's brother. Sometimes, I wonder what would have happened if I'd gone, if Robert hadn't legitimized me, if I just joined the Night's Watch like I planned. You'd be dead, or you'd be Lord Commander, hard to say which. They stand in silence, looking out at the North, at the lands they've fought to protect. Do you regret it? Robb asks. The legitimization, everything that came after, about the war, about the pain and loss and suffering. I regret that it took Father's life, that it cost us so much. But the rest? He pauses. No, I don't regret it, because I'm here, with you, with our family, and that's all I ever wanted. Even though you'll never be Lord of Winterfell, even though my children will inherit instead of you, I never wanted Winterfell. I just wanted to belong, and I do. I'm a Stark. The king made me one. Father's will confirmed it. I fought for it, bled for it, and I'll protect it until my last breath. Robb grips his shoulder. You're the best of us, Jon. You know that, right? I'm just trying to survive, same as everyone. No, you're doing more than surviving. You're living, you're serving. You're being the man Father raised you to be. Robb pauses. He'd be proud. Wherever he is, he'd be proud of you. Jon's throat tightens. I hope so. A raven arrives. The maester brings it to Robb. Robb reads. His face goes pale. What? It's from the wall, from the Lord Commander. He's requesting aid. Says there are things beyond the wall, dead things, moving south. He's calling for men, for supplies, for help. Jon's blood runs cold. The wall, the watch, the ancient enemy, the White Walkers. If they're real, they're real. The Night's Watch doesn't lie about this. Jon turns to Robb. You need to send aid, men, dragon glass, everything they need. I will. But Jon, I need you to lead them, to go north, to help the Watch. You know the wall. You know what they need. You're the best person for this. At the wall in the distance, at the darkness that waits, he thinks about his life, about the choices he's made, about the man he's become. Jon Snow wanted to join the Night's Watch, to defend the realm from the darkness. Jon Stark has different responsibilities now, different duties, but the mission is the same: defend the North, protect the realm, stand against the darkness. I'll go, Jon says. I'll take men, supplies, whatever the Watch needs, and I'll help them hold the wall for as long as it takes. Robb nods. Thank you, brother. Don't thank me. This is what Starks do. We protect the North. We stand against the darkness. We remember. Jon looks at Ghost, at his direwolf, at the white wolf that's been with him through everything. The North remembers, Jon says quietly, and so do I. He is Jon Stark, Warden of Winterfell, Sword of the North, legitimized son and loyal brother. He is not Jon Snow. That boy died when Robert made his drunken decree. But he's not the heir either, not the rival, not the threat. He's something else, something better. He's the man who chose loyalty over ambition, family over power, duty over glory. And when the darkness comes, when the long night falls, he'll be ready. Because that's what Starks do. They survive, they endure, they protect their pack. Always. Let us know what you'd like to see next. The end.